Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manavishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamanam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtavaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namaha Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyakadeshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratri Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriya Nilachala Nivasaya Nityaya Paramatmane Balabhadra Subhadraviyam Jagannathaya Te Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubheva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langarati Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Govindadeva. Okay. Continuing with the Atma Tattva Gyan, you will have to tolerate my voice. Audible, no? That's fine. So, this is I think we discussed till text 24 in our last meeting. Yeah. Acedyoyam dayoyam akaledyo shoshaya evacha nitya sarvagatasthanu achaloyam sanatanaha. This is text 24. This individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble and can neither be burned nor dried. He is everlasting, present everywhere, unchangeable, immovable, and eternally same. Yeah. So yes, I believe we discussed this verse.
No, 23 of discussed.
Only till 23?
23 have discussed.
You not discussed 24?
9,
Huh?
this one. This one discussed. 23 have discussed.
24 is not done.
I don't remember. Didn't it?
24? No 24?
No, 24, 23 is discussed. 24 is not.
Okay. So previous verse 23 talks about an assertion that the soul cannot be cut to pieces, the soul cannot be burnt by fire, the soul cannot be moistened by water, nor withered by the wind. This is text 23. And in text 24, what is mentioned is the characteristics of the soul. All these qualifications of the atomic soul definitely prove that the individual soul is eternally the atomic particle of the spirit whole. He remains the same atom eternally without change. The theory of monism is very difficult to apply in this case because the individual soul is never expected to become one homogeneously. After liberation from material contamination, the atomic soul may prefer to remain as a spiritual spark in the effulgent rays of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the individual souls enter into the spiritual planets to associate the Personality of Godhead. The word Sarvagataha, the all-pervading, is significant because there is no doubt that living entities are all over God's creation. They live on the land, in the water, in the air, within the earth, and even within fire. The belief that they are sterilized in fire is not acceptable because it is clearly stated here that the soul cannot be burned by fire. Therefore, there is no doubt that living entities are also in the sun planet with suitable bodies to live there. If the sun globe is uninhabited, then the word Sarvagataha, living everywhere, becomes meaningless. The entire material world is simply described as, or noticed as, or experienced as struggle for existence. Struggle forms the very fabric of material existence, actually. But the very important point which Srila Prabhupada, Lord Krishna, is highlighting here is the aspect that the struggle is only required to maintain an artificial setup. Artificialities need a struggle to understand, to set it up, to establish, then to practice, then to maintain, then to enhance, then to get rid of. Every phase is a struggle. It's a big struggle. That means it is an artificiality, actually. Natural state does not require struggle. So that is why Lord Krishna is highlighting so prominently here that the soul remains eternally the same. There is no change. There is no change actually. It is eternally the same, so there is no question of struggle. There is no question of upliftment, upgradation, degradation, justification. The spirit soul eternally is the same actually. So eternal principles are like that. And the more we identify with eternal principles, our life becomes stabilized. So the eternal principles always remain the same. What is the eternal activity of the spirit soul? Glorification of the Lord. Servitude. So that remains the same. That doesn't change. This is a very important point. If you try to analyze our lives, most of the struggle and the pain we experience in life is because of our deviation vectors. And the struggle is in proportion to the displacement quotient, you know. That is exactly what we will see. But if we are simply satisfied with the core aspects of bhakti, that yes, I am having opportunity to be in the association, to be able to chant and glorify and hear about Krishna, and to be able to serve the Lord, the devotees, every living entity, I don't want to change. So that is that makes life very stable and simple, and the struggles are much less. Now we must say that what you're saying, is there only one thing which we do in life? We do so many things. There's so many multitude of services. There's so many, so much variegatedness. Where is there only one thing? You know, we have management, we have construction, we have expansion, we have programs, we have festivals, we have so many things. So where is there only one thing? And what is eternal we are talking about? So there is a distinction between material consciousness and spiritual consciousness, and that is what comes here. The eternal consciousness, or a consciousness pointing towards a stable direction, is that which we need. See, what is material consciousness? Material consciousness means that the situation does not matter. Some or the other, given any situation, one wants to extract extract out of it sense gratification. That's called as material consciousness. So which means that even in the Sangha of devotees, that situation also doesn't matter. One can boss around, one can manipulate around, one can so many ways to drive one's own interests. So that is material consciousness. So now an activity or a consciousness, directing towards spiritual settings means what? That anything and everything we use an excuse, as a support, a staff to glorify Krishna. That is the motivation. The activities of Krishna consciousness do not change. There is no change. Like that. There is no change. With respect to the spirit soul, there is no change actually. That is the eternal activity. So whatever we do, it is the same thing which we should do. It is the same thing we want to do. We want to chant the holy names, we want to glorify Krishna, and we want to serve devotees. And that's all what we want to do. Whether it is a big festival, the same thing we want to do. Whether it is a big construction, the same thing we want to do. Or it may be a small festival or a small construction. It is the same thing which we want to do actually. In whatever way. So that is the meaning of that the soul remains the same atom eternally actually. The eternal settings do not change. Do not change. And therefore, Prabhupada makes an important point here. It's very interesting. I was very interested in understanding what is this principle of relativity in physics. Very recently I heard the actual definitions of what is relativity. You know? Einstein coined out two aspects of relativity, special and general theory of relativity. So special theory of relativity, by definition, it states that the laws of physics do not change in all inertial frames of reference. But then from this he wanted to go to a general theory of relativity. And the general theory of relativity, which came many years later, talks about that the laws of physics do not change in all frames of reference in the local vicinity. There's a definition of the general theory of relativity actually. The laws of physics do not change actually. Very interesting that ultimately, very interesting actually that
only that local vicinity is added.
Yeah. So the spirit soul is atomic and it carries a local vicinity around it actually. You know, the point is what? When you say local vicinity means what? There's a point of interest and the object of interest. The point which we are trying to say is that the settings of the world do not change actually. The eternal settings are like that. And when it comes to the spirit soul, especially, the spirit soul is atomic. And for the spirit soul there is no change. The Lord can be served in thousands and multitude, infinite varieties of ways. That is fine. But the spirit soul has its own small way of serving Krishna. So eternality is a lesson which we need to learn in our lives. That's why Prabhupada is talking about here, the philosophy of monism does not apply. Because spirit soul cannot be pulverized into one homogeneous the paste. Generally the nature of ego is to think that everybody else should be pulverized into one paste and we'll make idlis out of that. But then our pulverizer may be not be that powerful, the voltage may not be that high. But somebody else's pulverizer may be very powerful. Then you become an idli, and get baked and is it not? Or you get fried as a pakoda, is it not? And this happens in association of devotees. In a sangha of sadhakas it happens actually. So which means that yes, for us, our own service, what we can offer to Krishna, is very unique and special. That is wonderful. At the same time, Krishna is a connoisseur of variegatedness, and he accepts everyone. That needs to be acknowledged. Otherwise, we land up into monism. In the association of devotees, in the Sangha of Vaishnavas. So when we thrust and propagate that this is the only way, we are monastic, we are not bhaktas, we become monists. And the perfection of this kind of monism is what is called as, when Mayavadis say, I am God, that is the perfection of their philosophy, the perverted perfection of their philosophy. As a bhakta, you cannot use those terminologies because they are not there in the compiler systems of bhakti. They are not there in a dictionary of bhakti again. But when we say that this is the only way, this is the only way to serve Krishna, and Prabhupada said this, then we want everyone to be driven in that way, then we are no less than monists actually. I am following the pathway of monism. And the perfection of that is that one starts thinking that I am the only representative of Srila Prabhupada. And there is nobody else in this planet. The part of ISKCON which I am in is Prabhupada's ISKCON, all other ISKCON is bogus ISKCON, that kind of, and we are seeing this happening in our society as well. So this is how Shunyavad goes to Mayavad. No, monism.
Oh.
No, Shunyavad is that one, everything is one, that is Shunyavad. And Mayavad, by Mayavad I mean, I am God. Voidism and Nirvishesha, nothing except one. See, these are all variations of the same thing actually. And we may land up in some similar kind of thing. So that means only the word terminologies are changed. Instead of saying I am God, we are saying I am the only God is represented. So this is not bhakti. The Prabhupada says, see, the individual soul is never expected to become one homogeneously. There is no homogeneity. That is why Prabhupada points it out that you see, therefore many a times it is very easy, as Prabhupada says, that the atomic soul may prefer to remain as a spiritual spark. There is no tension, there is no problem, there is no pulverization, because it's just light and light and light and like that. But the point is that so sometimes it appears that making oneself into an island is an intelligent proposal. Or is a good one. But then Prabhupada says it requires the intelligent souls enter the spiritual planets. It requires intelligence. to understand the matrix of association and and those matrix of association will evolve us to become a resident of the spiritual world. So that is the point actually. Therefore, whenever we deviate from the eternal settings of the eternal nature, we will see there are problems which others also experience and we also experience. So seeing the problem, we should understand I have become deviated. Let me come back and adopt the same principle of eternality. Eternal principles do not change. All we carry with us is our relationship with the Holy Name, with the Lord, with Lord's mercy, with Holy Name's mercy, with Bhagavatam's mercy and with devotees' mercy. All we carry with all of us, we will carry with all of us is gratitude. That yes, I was given an opportunity to serve and I could do something. And I was accommodated and I was given a chance. And that is what will remain with us, isn't it? And I could do something. When I had some energy, when I had some strength, when I could do something, I could do that because of devotee's mercy, because of Krishna's mercy. That is the important point. That meaning of eternal settings actually. And eternal settings do not change. So here the soul is described as Sarvagata. Actually the Lord is described as Sarvagata. But what is this Sarvagata? What do we mean by the soul being Sarvagata?
Soul can stay at any place.
But when the soul is God?
Yeah.
The soul is Sarvagata. The soul is Sarvagata.
Means it is not the same soul who is present everywhere. Souls are present at different places.
Yeah. The souls are present in different places, yes.
But it's being talked in singular tense.
When it is said Lord is Sarvagata, that means Lord is present simultaneously at all places.
Yes. The soul is not present simultaneously, but if the soul wants,
Yes,
he
it's
can
being
be.
talking in singular tense. Singular.
Yeah. So there are two things. One thing is that everywhere some or the other soul is there. The other thing is that the same soul can go everywhere even if he wants. He has to take different bodies.
He is everlasting, present everywhere.
Yeah. Present everywhere means all pervading. Not present everywhere, but all pervading. Yeah. Present everywhere. Present everywhere means everywhere you will find the spirit soul. As an
Not
entity.
the same spirit.
Not the same. And the same spirit soul can also go everywhere. But not at the same time. That is the meaning of Sarvagata. Because you see, if the soul is all pervading and he is everywhere simultaneously, then what is the point in taking one body and another body?
But then Maya,
If you are wearing all the shirts, then what is the point in changing of shirt? Is it not?
Mayavadis can use this verse.
So Mayavadis can misuse this verse. Therefore we have to. So everything has to be in the context. Now you may say, no, the soul is present everywhere. Then why Krishna 30 verses is talking about the change of body? If you are present everywhere, then what is the meaning of changing body? If I am here also and I am here also, then who am I? Then I am he, I am you, I am you, I am you, I am you, I am everything. Mayavad. So the soul is not everywhere like that. So the soul takes different bodies. The soul is capable of living everywhere. In any condition he can fit in. Actually, we should take strength from this point which the Lord is revealing. We should feel great hope from this point which Lord is revealing. As spirit soul, we have lot of capacities to take it up, to tolerate. You see, that is the point, that we have so much capacity to take it up and to tolerate. The spirit soul is able to stay in hellish planets. And in hellish planets also, the spirit soul makes algorithms for sense gratification. If he is given freedom in hellish planet also, suppose, morning 8 to night 9 p.m. he has a shift, when he is fried in the oil. That is his regular service, being fried. So he has office hours, So 9 p.m. is released, suppose, Now it is not that 9 p.m. he takes a bit, he can start chanting for deliverance. 9 p.m. he seeks sense gratification. So Govind Bro is explaining that even in hellish planet there is sex life. So people are suffering, in their office shift, and as soon as they get freedom, they enjoy sex life and try to squeeze out some enjoyment. How ridiculous. Whole day you are being burnt in fire, or whatever, eaten by worms, and when you get freedom, you don't enjoy sex life. How abominable and how ridiculous and how unfortunate. But that proves a very important point, and the point is that the soul has infinite capacity to take it up, to tolerate. When we can tolerate to that extent, why can't we tolerate little bit the deficiencies of the devotees staying with us? And remain focused on servitude. So this verse we should take hope from here. Look at the capacity of the spirit soul. He can be everywhere. That means to the darkest dungeons of hellish planets, the spirit soul can be there also, and there also he can live a happy life. Means he can find out, squeeze out happiness from somewhere in whatever life he has. So that is the point actually. So therefore actually bhakti is about vector dynamics. And the spiritual dynamics always goes that okay, even in a dark setting, let me find out a vector pointer upwards and connect to that. Take it in. Externally, internally, we may be in different types of settings. Sometimes we may be a setting which is very complicated, very restless, everything is unfortunate, everything is called as catastrophe, outside, inside, every side. So there also we find one point to relate upwards and move up. But okay, whatever it is, that is there something which I can connect to Krishna from here? Is there something which I can do to serve Krishna from here? So state does not matter. What matters is what offering we are giving to Krishna. Are we given an offering to the Lord? Okay. The state does not matter. That's the point. High or low, it doesn't matter. Whichever state we are in, what we can offer to Krishna is something which is most valuable at that point. And that we should not leave it at any cost. Even living on this planet Earth, some of us are living in heavenly abodes and some of us are living in hellish abodes. Mentally. Right? So some of our mind settings may be such that we enjoy heavenly pleasure. Poetry comes out, shlokas come out, new tunes come out, like that. Isn't that? Yeah? By default humility comes out, and that's a heavenly abode, we are enjoying, having a nice time. Obviously, we have done the people, these devotees have done a lot of hard work in the past, so they are enjoying. Right? And sometimes for some of us the abode is hellish. Every now and then one beating is going on. Take this sense gratification. Like that, and one material is there, another material is there, another material is there. It's like a whip. Again, silence a word in there, like that. Point is, we find what we can offer to Krishna. Stick to that. So that is why vector dynamics govern the journey of the soul actually. So the point is that we should do, if we do what we can do, that's all we should do. And then Krishna takes or purifies our settings. When he sees that we are doing what we can do. Yeah? And not undo. That is the point. Because material world always proposes you can still undo. अभी भी भक्ति में आप इतना आगे नहीं बढ़े, है कि नहीं? अभी तो पैंट शर्ट ही है कि नहीं? हेयर स्टाइल भी है कि नहीं? But even after becoming sannyasi, Maya says like that. अभी भी आप इतना आगे नहीं बढ़े हैं, है कि नहीं? It is still the Western world. It is still Kali Yuga, no problem. So the point is that, offering to Krishna is very important. So here the soul is also described as achala, unchangeable. So does that mean that the soul does not move at all? There is no motion? See, the soul is called as achala and mind is called as chanchala. Yeah, mind is chanchala. Goes here and there and everywhere, It's like rock music, It's just battling apart, The mind is like that, And the soul is described as achala. So what does that mean? The soul does not move at all? It means that the soul cannot be moved by material means. Cannot be moved by material means actually. This is another very hope-giving characteristic of the soul.
When body moves, soul
No, the state of the soul cannot be moved by any material means actually.
Like we tell, even in so much difficulty, that person was unmoved.
Yeah.
That move.
That move.
the state.
Material means can never be moved by the soul. So how are we jolted? How are we, jolted out or bowled out, है कि नहीं? अपना गाड़ी कैसे डाउन होता है फिर, That's an important question actually. So this is another hope-giving characteristic of the soul, that the soul cannot be moved by material means what? That nobody can shake the soul. No material situation can shake the soul. But we are always shaken up. So the point is, it is not material situation which shakes us up. It is our attachment which shakes us up. Therefore, when material situations are peaceful, better we get rid of attachments. Then the material situations change, but the attachment is gone, no shaking. The soul remains immovable. That is the point. Does it make sense? It is our attachment. We have heard this example thousands of times, but that is what is the substantiating example. How Yamadutas carry the soul. The Yamadutas can never touch the soul. So what do the Yamadutas do? They take the subtle body, like the television, and the soul is watching his favorite channel, on the television. This is the I channel, no? है कि नहीं?
IT.
Yeah, it is ITV. है कि नहीं? Aham Mameti in the television series. है कि नहीं? And the soul is watching that. So just like that the Yamadutas are taking away the television set, you can picturize a cartoon. And the soul is just walking behind them. Like that. है कि नहीं? The soul cannot be moved by material situations. The Yamadutas cannot touch the soul. But it is the attachment of the soul which is making him move. On his own he is moving. Material attachments are that strong, you see. And therefore, when material situations are not very, demanding or taxing, the spirit soul should work. The sadhaka should work on getting rid of these material attachments. So when the high tide of material situations come, it doesn't hit us. That's the meaning of achala. It's another very beautiful characteristic of the soul. We should understand that. That means that if we work hard when situations are not that pressurizing, the pressure situations will be protected. That is the point. So this means that everything is in our own hands. If we understand things properly and apply it properly, everything is in our own hands. Who says advancement in Krishna consciousness cannot be achieved? Who says? Only our mind says like that. Again, mind says to intelligence. Intelligence tells, substantiates by ego, and with the signature of the HOD ego, it goes to the soul. And the soul says, okay, so many people have signed, so be it. So it is so basically, the point is that the spirit soul is achala. He is not affected by material situations. He is only affected by his own attachments. If we work on attachments, we can set right the whole situation forever, for all times to come. That is the point being described. So if we really try to meditate on these characteristics of the soul, they are so beautiful. They are so hope-giving. Again, isn't that the soul is sarvadaha, so hope-giving, and the soul is achala. That's a characteristic of the soul.
But how to access these natures of soul? Because soul is covered by thick layer, that cannot be accessed.
By the process of filtration. How do we purify contaminations? By filtration. So we have to do a mental filtration. Filtration on all levels. A mental filtration and intellectual filtration. Again. This is that. So which means that
We are only attached.
filtration means removing attachments. Yeah, then we can filter things nicely. So now you are understanding it is attachments which creates a problem for us. It is not anything else. So best is to work on our attachments. Then we can do very nice filtration. Given a material situation, that's like raw data. And we do filtration, we get very nice things what we need.
Like cross filtration, subtle.
Yeah, self filtration, yes. First thing we have to cast off our attachments actually. Identify and cast it off. Work on it. Then we can access these eternal characteristics of the soul actually. Is it not?
But that is mechanical process.
It is not mechanical process because the process involves dependence on the Lord. Again. Because like that. The equation may appear the same. Again. But every variable is an operator. Therefore it is not classical domain, it's a quantum domain. Again. Yeah? So equation may appear the same चीज बोल रहे हैं ना कि soul है कि नहीं नेचर ऑफ द सोल, वही तो एक्टिविटी कर रहे हैं, मैंने कुछ बदल तो रहा नहीं है ना. So what is changing is the attachments. Working without attachment and not working with attachment, the work may remain the same, right? But the equation remains the same. But every variable has become an operator, right? That's what happens in quantum mechanics. So same thing. Material life is the box, and we have to go out of the box, right? So the definition of the box is needed to define what is out of the box. Again. Therefore, one has to deal with matter. It is needed to understand what is out of the box. Again. Because if you don't understand the box, how do you know it is out of the box? Right? And unless you open the lid of the box, how do you go out of the box? Where is the box? How is the box? Right? So that's why the spiritual settings have to be exacted or enacted on a material scale, on a material platform. Is it not? So therefore we have to filter off. A sadhaka should become very clear in identifying, okay, this is matter, this is spirit. This is sense gratification, this is self-realization. Again, this is downward vector, this is upward vector. Again. So the clarity should be, with practice, a sadhaka should develop this very clear clarity. Given a thought, he is able to identify, ये इधर है, ये इधर है. ये accept, ये reject. Flush out. Again, excreted. That is the point. So a devotee, he flushes out material settings. Again. Right? That's the point. Okay, we go to text 25.
Guru, these attachments are reoccurring. And we cut them out and then again come.
करते रहना होता है.
Is the process wrong?
Process is not wrong.
Or we are applying, I am applying somewhere.
No, it's a process of reference. Like that. It's not completely cut. We have to cut, so the intensity goes down. Again, the intensity goes down. That way. Everything is like that. Like, say, okay, attachment to money. If we, once cut, the intensity will go down. इतना खुजली नहीं होगा, हाय पैसा नहीं, ठीक है. It will be peaceful. Again. Is it not? That way. But one go, it's not cut. Just like sometimes, you want to get a very fine shave, you need 2 times shaving. Yeah? You need double blade, triple blade. 3 times it's cut. And then you get then you get the look of a man. No, the manlyhood and all that. The sensitivity is the sign of manlyhood and all that, right? The point is, it's a 3 times cut. Is it not? Yeah? Like that. Similarly, we need to cut multiple times. One thing we can observe fighting with all the recurring cuts is that the intensity goes down. Previously it's like a tsunami, and it becomes like a itch. Again. So what's the problem? Therefore, bhakti, we should never become impatient. Impatience is not a word in the Bhakta's dictionary at all. Because a devotee should learn to remain satisfied just by understanding that I am in the association and I am able to do money program and I am able to be in association and I am able to serve. That's good enough. It is said that the soul is invisible, inconceivable, and immutable. Knowing this, you should not grieve for the body. 25, takes 25. No.
25.
Avyaktoyam achintyoyam avikaryoyam uchyate tasmadevam viditvainam nanushochitumarhasi. It is said that the soul is invisible, inconceivable, immutable. Knowing this, you should not grieve for the body. Now somebody may say, okay, the soul is achintyaya. Achintyaya, it has been mentioned. Inconceivable. Now one may say, okay, then the soul is inconceivable, so what is the point in thinking about it?
Material not.
Huh?
Materially cannot be conceived.
Okay, that's fair
Because
enough.
invincible also materially,
Yeah.
or else we cannot see.
Yeah.
You cannot see directly.
No, material.
Okay, both are related, yes.
We can conceive through his if cause, but directly we cannot see. By effect, we can see the effect of this.
Okay. So the point is, if we never think about the soul, how will we understand what is life and the meaning of life? So the import here is that Achintya means by our own we cannot understand. We can get some indication by our own. We need devotees, we need scriptures, you guys understand. So this is the meaning of Achintya.
So says tiny achint. Tiny achint.
Like many a times we are not able to understand. Many a times in first year I have marked out one boy, he's a very enthusiastic boy. He'll be a very nice preacher, very good devotee, OC, like that. And second year that boy becomes the most dabu boy, Many times I have seen like that. But nowadays I don't make conclusions. Yeah, like that only. So many times it happens. Sometimes we feel in our first year group, this boy is the most dabu. And that fellow may become OC after 2 years. Again. Like that. The whole point is that we are supposed to drive off this grief through knowledge. Through knowledge. Just read the purport. As described previously, the magnitude of the soul is so small, for our own material calculation, he cannot be seen even by the most powerful microscope, therefore he is invisible. As far as the soul existence is concerned, no one can establish his existence experimentally beyond the process of Shruti or Vedic wisdom. We have to accept this truth because there is no other source of understanding the existence of the soul, although it is a fact by perception. There are many things we have to accept solely on grounds of superior authority. No one can deny the existence of his father based on the authority of his mother. Similarly, there is no source of understanding the soul except by studying the Vedas. In other words, the soul is inconceivable by human experimental knowledge. The soul is consciousness and conscious. That also is a statement of the Vedas, and we have to accept that. Unlike the bodily changes, there is no change in the soul. As eternally unchangeable, the soul remains atomic. In comparison to the infinite Supreme Soul. The Supreme Soul is infinite and the atomic soul is infinitesimal. Therefore, the infinitesimal soul being unchangeable can never become equal to the one infinite soul. Therefore, the infinitesimal soul being unchangeable can never become equal to the infinite soul. This concept is repeated in the Vedas in different ways, just to confirm the stability of the conception of the soul. Repetition of something is necessary in order that we understand the matter thoroughly, without error. So when we try to understand, the only way to understand is Shruti, the Vedic wisdom, the Parampara. Yeah. And that is the way the soul can be understood, and that is the only way. That is the lesson in this verse. A material means you cannot understand. And that is called as faith. Faith means experience in modifying a material situation and applying a spiritual power of mind there. That's called as faith. So we'll read text 26. अतः चैनं नित्यजातं नित्यं वा मनस्य संयमितं तथापि त्वां महाबाहो नैनं शोचितुमर्हसि. If however you think that the soul is always born and dies forever, you still have no reason for it. You still have no reason to lament, my dear. अभी क्या किया बंद किया खोल सकते हैं for now we can open everything. So text 26. So if however you think that the soul is always born and dies forever, you still have no reason to lament. So Krishna is So basically, the point is that this verse refers to the atheistic reductionistic philosophy. Who says life is just coming from chemicals, it just comes into existence once. There were just chemicals, and life came, it started, and sometime it will just stop. And your existence stops. So this is the misnomer. Prabhupada explains that, you see, there is always a class of philosophers almost akin to Buddhists who do not believe in the separate existence of the soul beyond the body. When Lord Krishna spoke the Gita, it appeared that such philosophers existed, and they were known as Lokayatikas and Vaibhashikas. Such philosophers maintain that life symptoms take place at a certain mature condition of material combination. The modern material scientists and materialistic philosophers also think similarly. According to them, body is a combination of physical elements, and at a certain stage of life, symptoms develop by interaction of physical and chemical elements. The science of anthropology is based on this philosophy. Currently, many Sikh religions now use it. The science of anthropology is based on this philosophy. Currently, many pseudo-religions now becoming fashionable in America are also adhering to this philosophy, as well as the nihilistic non-devotional Buddhist sects. Even if Arjuna did not believe in the existence of soul as in the Vaisheshika philosophy, there would still have been no cause of lamentation. No one laments. Now Krishna is saying, okay, you are saying life is chemicals, then why are you lamenting? Who laments at the loss of chemicals? What a foolishness. Prabhupada is saying, no one laments at the loss of a certain bulk of chemicals and stops discharging his prescribed duty. On the other hand, in modern science and scientific warfare, so many tons of chemicals are wasted for achieving victory over the enemy. According to Vaibhashika philosophy, the so-called Atma of the soul vanishes along with the deterioration of the body. So in any case, whether Arjuna accepted the Vedic conclusion that there is an atomic soul, nor he did not believe in the existence of the soul, he had no reason to lament. According to this theory, since there are so many living entities generating out of matter every moment, and so many of them are being vanquished every moment, there is no need to grieve for such incidents. Arjuna had no reason to be afraid of being affected. Okay. If there were no rebirth for the soul, Arjuna had no reason to be afraid of being affected by sinful reactions. तो सिंपल रिएक्शन कैसे आएगा? rebirth ही नहीं है, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, एंजॉय. So if there is no rebirth, Arjuna had no reason of being afraid to be affected by sinful reactions due to his killing his grandfather and teacher. But at the same time, Krishna sarcastically addressed Arjuna as Mahabhahu because he at least did not accept the theory of Vaibhashikas, which leaves aside the Vedic wisdom. As a Kshatriya, Arjuna belonged to the Vedic culture and it behooved him to continue to follow its principles. So the reductionist philosophy is always to break it down, but the devotee philosophy always to match it up. Match it up. So therefore, material consciousness, one will always try to break it down. How to create rifts, how to create disparity. But spiritual consciousness, how to match it up. We may have different individualities, it's fine. But now in the mission of the Lord, what is that common thing we can come together on? Match it up. Line it up. That is bhakti. Break it down. Material consciousness. Reductionistic consciousness. So the problem in reductionism is that it just remains a theory. It doesn't have any practical implication. And the benefit of synthesis is that it just doesn't remain a theory, it becomes a lifestyle. It is not different. So that is the point. So we'll just recite this verse. We'll read this verse. This is continuing again the same thing. Now Krishna is talking by contrast. You say it's by chemical, so where do you limit? Which means that even if you think materially, many times we get a solution. Even if we think materially deep enough, then also we get a solution. Even material to any problem. Even materialists acknowledge that if you really want to win relationships and move forward and succeed in life, you need humility. अब उनको अपना मटेरियल घुमा घुमा के भी समझ में आता है ना, like that. That's why Krishna is saying, you say chemicals, but you nonsense, what are you doing with your chemicals? It's the same thing actually. So many times, we don't even think materially properly. They say anger. If a person thinks materially properly, he will control. Where am I? I'm in father's office, there are many people around. I'm sitting on his chair. So one understands, okay, at this point I'm in a solemn place, I cannot fight with my brother. I get it. So that's important actually. So let us read text 27. It is on the same theme actually. So therefore, atheistic people are not even materialists. They are illusionists. Because if you actually become a materialist, you will get a big list. Again. How everything is connected to Krishna. Again, that's the point. Even materialists talk about it, tolerate. Even materialists talk about it, focus. Again. Even materialists do it, eat good food. Again. Okay, text 27. जातस्य हि ध्रुवो मृत्यु
जातस्य हि ध्रुवो मृत्यु
ध्रुवं जन्मामृतस्य च
ध्रुवं जन्मामृतस्य च
तस्माद् अपरिहार्ये अर्थे
तस्माद् अपरिहार्ये
न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि
न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि.
See, the point is that Krishna is giving this verse, na tum shojitumarasi, again and again now. Why are you lamenting? So then what is the lamentation? And Krishna will give this again and again. One who has taken his birth is sure to die, and after death one who is sure to be born again. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. Unavoidable duty for a Kshatriya. Okay, so let's take it up. One who has taken his birth is sure to die, and after death one is sure to take birth again. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. So the point is Krishna is trying to explain. Arjuna saying that they have taken birth very soon, they are going to anyways die. So why are you living your duty? And the fact is they will die, they will get another body also again. So why are you giving up your duty? Right? That is the point which is being described here. So not just some, this section is a section on biochemicals. It is not just biochemicals actually. Life has much more depths, life has much more meanings. So reductionism is a hellish concept. Synthesis is the actual concept. Synthesis is the way. That is the point. So when we see things we cannot understand, when we see situations we cannot understand, then we try to synthesize. We don't try to give up. कि ये कुछ और है, मैं कुछ और हूँ, छोड़ दो. We say, how do I fit in? What changes I bring in myself? Which all aspects of Krishna consciousness to focus and take shelter of. So this is the aspect. But what a point. You see, even if one thinks really materially, he will also understand. Like Vaishnava qualities, everybody accepts. Like I told you many times, one time I had gone to IIM, one fellow was debating with me. And then he was asking, what do you get by bhakti? One of the things I told was humility. He said, उसमें क्या है? You just marry in 1 week, you become a man. उसमें क्या बड़ी बात है? उसमें तुम्हारे माला जब नहीं कैसे होता? No. That time I didn't tell him. Now I have an answer. It's inexpensive. Okay. ये वाला ह्यूमिलिटी आसानी से मिल जाता है. कम से कम पैसा तो नहीं खर्च करना पड़ता है कि नहीं? So the point is that even materially speaking, people realize these qualities. Therefore, it is said by speculation you can get a glimpse, some familiarity. लेकिन उसके बाद मेहनत तो करना ही होगा. So this is very powerful actually. So at least we should consider, we should understand matter properly. Again. At least we should learn how to think materially. You know? It's an very important point actually. Isn't that? Therefore Krishna is bringing it out. You are saying it's chemical, but are you not able to see? No? Very interesting actually. So therefore the point is that, everything in this world has a pointer to Krishna. You just see it properly. And therefore when devotees mature and advance, they can see any situation and relate with God. Like Prabhupada. Like Srila Prabhupada did. Proper disciples. Yeah. So anything which is artificial will always be stopgap. वो एक वेव के लिए काम करता है लेकिन नेक्स्ट मोमेंट वेव चेंज हो जाता है. That is the point actually. So similarly we see these philosophies, they seem to be, they all are like waves. Life is just chemical, ऐसे ही बोल दिया है ना, लेकिन what does it mean? There's no understanding of it again. Right? So body is not unimportant because body is the medium through which consciousness is expressed. And we also experience consciousness or soul like that. Body is a medium. So it is important, but it is just the medium. More important is the body. Again. Right? So I think we will stop here. Right? Finally, we'll just read. There are two commentaries of Baladev Vidyabhushan Vishwanath Chakravarti. If you have this thing, do you have this thing? The slideshow?
No.
Okay, so you can just read. This is the commentary of Chakravarti Thakur on 225, and then Baladev Vidyabhushan on 227. Let's talk about it. See, this is just like sometimes people, they say that we are scientific, like that. You say many people say we are scientific. Now we are okay, you are scientific, what is Schrodinger equation? What are the eigenstates of angular momentum? Like that, na? So how is polarization related to the spin orbital and spin and orbital angular momentum? So sometimes people just say science, they don't know science also. And they just keep speaking something, we are scientific. तुमको पता है क्या साइंस होता है कुछ? तुमको क्या पता है साइंस में क्या होता है कि नहीं ना? So many people are like that. No? That is just like that. And therefore people say chemical. Chemical का मतलब क्या होता है कुछ पता है क्या है ना? And if you say chemical तो ये problem कैसे solve होगा है ना? So that's why what they do is that they make one equation and one formula, then they understand अरे तो इधर ही apply होता है, इधर apply नहीं होता है. Then they add one more factor in the formula, है ना? है ना?
If you ask more, they will tell it is proved. We don't know, but it is written somewhere.
Somewhere it is there.
Or we will prove it in future.
So devotee is much more tangible and scientific because he bases everything on individual experience. At least the devotee will say ठीक है ना? मैं जब किया मैं देखा my parents have become devotees. Tangible scientist की तरह बात कर रहा है कि नहीं? And he experimented. He took the risk. He did the faith. He went forward and he saw the results. है कि नहीं? But materialists, they sound ridiculous. Just like these people sound ridiculous. They say science, लेकिन science भी नहीं आता इन लोग को ना, है कि नहीं? Is it not? Science में है क्या पता है ना? Like that. Yeah, go ahead. Just read. So we'll just read these two slides and we'll stop here.
Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary on second chapter 25th verse. Therefore the Atma is described in this way, taking the descriptions of the previous verse. It cannot be cut, burnt, dried or moistened. The repetition of the words signifying the eternal nature of the soul in this section, such as the use of words Nitya and Sanatana in this verse and the statements of the previous verse, is for the purpose of precisely defining the soul for those of confused intellect. Just as one will repeat several times in order to make certain that everyone understands. This is the dharma of Kali Yuga. This is the dharma of Kali Yuga. Sarvagata, gone everywhere, means that the soul goes into all sorts of bodies such as human, animal and deva by its karma. Sthita and Achala have the same meaning, having stability. and the repetition makes the meaning clear. Because it is very fine, it is called avyakta. Because it pervades the body with consciousness, it is called achinta, beyond conception. Being devoid of the 6 changes such as birth, it is called avikara. The other meaning is pervading everywhere. But this meaning is not taken since the subject is the jiva, who pervades only his own body. Baladev explains sthano as having a stable swarupa. Baladev Vidyabhushan's commentary on second chapter 27th verse. The body is redundant and the Atma is eternal. Birth is combination of Atma with previously non-existing senses and body. Death is a separation of Atma from the body with its senses. Because birth and death both arise from performance of dharma and adharma, birth and death primarily belong to a substrata or shelter of dharma and adharma, which must be eternal. Birth and death belong secondarily to the body. If the soul were not eternal, lasting only one lifetime, it could not be accepted as the substrate of dharma and adharma, because then it could have no acquisition of results to actions previously performed, and simultaneously it would acquire effects not caused by actions previously performed. This is the view of logicians, follows of Gautama Nyaya philosophy.
Okay, you'll have to read it as a homework to understand. Okay, this is 27, right? Yeah. So we stop here, and so probably this yeah. So probably for this year, or probably the whole year, we will have our sessions Sunday evenings like this and Monday mornings. However, for tomorrow I got an SMS that there is some GS class by Bhakti Vigna Vinashak Narsimha Maharaj in some Gita Bhavan. They're at the flat they have. So we confirm that if it is there, then we will not have the morning session. If it is not there, then we'll have morning session. Yeah, Sandeep Bru can confirm. And right, it's there. You're saying. Yeah, I got an SMS. None of you get SMSs like this. Only I get.
Someone is GS coordinator. I have got.
Oh, somebody would have got.
GS coordinator.
Any information.
No,
GS
they're
coordinator
sending me,
gets. He has to inform.
No, they are sending me now. Anyways, in that case, tomorrow we will not be having, because 6:15 to 8 is this GS class by Bhakti Vigna Vinashak Narsimha.
6:15 bro.
So
He's saying 6:15 in Gaurang Bhavan. You can confirm. So this being the case, then tomorrow we are not having class, because there is GS class 6:15 to 8. But in general, every week we will have morning 7:10 to 8 also. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
but समझ में नहीं आया बल्ले विद्याभूषण
वो आप थोड़ा पढ़ो.
Very beautiful. कहाँ से निकाला ये सच
Proper.
Prabhupada is not speaking, but he was so beautifully describing the meaning of Achala and Swarup Gata.
True. Question.
Yes.
People say life is chemical, and they'll say only one life. We are in this body. To refute them, we say you're telling consciousness is there. We ask them what is the source of the consciousness. Is that the only argument we can have? Such kind of people who tell only one lifetime people. Some people claim that this is only one lifetime. We are coming from chemicals. That's it. Because there is no prior life or there is no afterlife.
Yeah.
And then if you ask what is causing the body to move, they'll accept till the point of consciousness. They accept that brain is a mechanism, brain is just an instrument. So then what is the next argument we make for that?
Consciousness like the energy, and
There
it
is
needs an
nothing.
energetic, that is the soul. Right? That is the soul actually.
Means we cannot prove them to in any experimental way. Means if we can prove experimentally, then we can. The soul is not achieved. Then it's not achieved. It's not achieved.
Achintya means independently we cannot understand.
But you are proving it.
That is coming in parampara. And we are proving one aspect of it.
Means ultimately we can never completely prove to them. Like we draw a line and show that this is it.
Complete proof means they start realizing that they are soul. That is called as complete proof.
That is not
That
possible.
they cannot do. For that they have to do their homeworks. But at least intellectually we can mark an impression. नहीं आप body नहीं है. तो वो क्या है, इंटेलेक्चुअली एक हमने स्टैंप मार दिया है कि नहीं?
That doesn't make soul chinta. Means conceivable. That doesn't make soul
Obviously.
conceivable.
बिकॉज नो साइंस और सोल देखने के सुनने के बाद भी लोग जाके मूवी देख के आते हैं, है कि नहीं? अभी ऐसे कैसे हो गया है ना, इफ यू अंडरस्टैंड यू आर नॉट द बॉडी ऑफ द सोल देन व्हाई यू आर वाचिंग मूवी, हाँ है कि नहीं? तो वी हैव जस्ट है ना एक टुक we have just pierced an impression in their intellectual plane, like that you are not the body or the soul, like that. We have not made them, so the point is the whole journey is remaining. So the soul is Achintya, only when it takes shelter of the Lord we can understand. Homework is. Similarly, material situations में spiritual lessons होते हैं लेकिन समझ में नहीं आता है. उसके लिए again homework has to be done. Right? That is the point actually. Materially we cannot understand. So that's the point. Similarly, material situations, material consciousness में handle करना बहुत मुश्किल है. Spiritual consciousness में handle करना possible है. Is it not? That is the point.
So that statement is told now. Materially also, if you think we get the solution.
Yeah, if you think properly. अवधूत ब्राह्मण है, he is having 24 gurus. एक prostitute को भी गुरु बना दिया ना, है कि नहीं? Right? So, you just see the contrast, So how is it possible? They are actually seeing things materially.
In this way, Lord Kelvin told me, if you think deeply in science, we will come to know that God is.
That's the point.
So it means that the present scientists are not proper scientists because if you think too deeply in science, then we will come to know that God really exists. And they are simply manipulating things.
That's true. That is true actually. See, you get pointers.
Not proofs.
You get indications. You get understandings कि ये जो है ये hodgepodge concept इतना समझ में आता है कि नहीं? That is the point.
Recently in the IEM presentation was going on to Yadapurkar, one of the topmost computer science professor, IEEE highly cited professor. He was telling how they are doing research in nano fabrication. So they are studying insects, very small these things. So every time he's saying that if you see this, you will be forced to believe in God design. It was 100 times telling that. And then इतना complicated, how God's creation. पता नहीं है लेकिन just telling.
Yeah, that's the point. Krishna's creation is very powerful. At every level, the Lord has created, that fineness. Whatever level it has. Again. Therefore, illusory energy is also so complicated. You समझ में नहीं आता. Again.
Take the slide.
At least we can copy those two and put it in a document. And yes, therefore Ariyama is saying,
Who is saying?
Ariyama, he is saying that Tadatyanta Vidambana, this material energy is Vidambana. So wonder, itna khatarnak. So now the conclusion of this Atma Tattva section also we are going to read something about Vidambana. That is coming up next Sunday. Again, same time, one forum.
Who is Ariyama?
Ariyama is one of the rulers in this, Harivarsha, I think. A great devotee of the Lord. He's a presiding devotee ruler in Harivarsha. So the third assignment is pending, right? Third assignment is pending, again.
Four assignments, 3 assignments.
Let's show. Assignment, kota ache. Again, homework is required, Baba. Again, ये homework के बिना काम नहीं चलता है कि नहीं? Okay, so you all take Prasad and you confirm whether there is a class. If there is no class, then we will have a class here and we have to inform the online devotees. If no class, then all of you will go and I will take class with other devotees.